Here's the kicker, Jake Elliott, ready to get this one started. And we are underway from FedEx Field. This fielded right at the goal line. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. Wentz to throw on the first play from scrimmage. Oh, he's going to take a shot right away. He's got a man complete. And they're going to get this down near the 35-yard line. I tell you, when Carson Wentz can really step into one and get that 6'5" frame behind it, he can really launch it. On play action, Wentz. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far. It's second down. To throw on 2nd and 10. Wentz. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
As a coaching staff, you can call just about whatever you want because you understand you have guys who reliably take away those massive shots downfield. You're not as worried about giving up the big one.
This is caught by his tight end, Logan Thomas. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. So the completion good for 6 yards. And that'll bring up 4th down. Sly able to put this one through. And it's 3-0 Washington. Well, they started the drive backed up pretty deep, but a nice effort to overcome the field position, get into field goal range on the game's opening possession.
And, Brandon, I think from where they started, the initial thought was, can we get 1 or 2 first downs and help out our defense after we pump the ball away with field position? As that drive went on, I think their sights got set a little bit higher. They were thinking touchdown, ended up settling in between and coming away with a field goal.
Hurts and the Eagles come up here 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. They start on the ground here at Sanders. And room to run as he's up past the 35-yard line. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards. And it's 2nd and 2. Hurts sets up to throw it. And this is caught by Watkins. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. Open man, that's Devontae Smith. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A good pickup there at 22.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people, but you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
They certainly thought he had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send him back to the drawing board.
He's going deep for Brown. And this is caught. Touchdown, Philadelphia. A.J. Brown, 37 yards. And the Eagles are able to answer the early 3 points and take a first-quarter lead. Well, Charles, here in their opening series, they said they had certain plays scripted for certain players. That looked like a well-designed play to get one of their top targets involved.
Yeah, let's face it, Brandon. A player of his talent is a problem for any opponent to defend, and we saw it right there. They tried to deny an open lane to him. He still outplayed the coverage and scored the early touchdown. Good luck trying to figure out how to defend him as this game moves on.
This taken in at the goal line. And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. Now Washington going to retake the field for drive number 2. And after the field goal last time, let's see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them want it in with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
But you met fan bases that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drop in with a kick other than the extra point. That's it.
And down he goes. They bring down Wentz on the sack. Hassan Reddick coming in from that outside linebacker spot. He gets him down. It's a loss of 5. To try again after the sack. Wentz. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
They're bringing a lot of pressure here already in the first quarter. Already sacked him once. Now they get in there and knock another one away. I think maybe that Tucker rule being gone makes defenses a lot bolder.
Yes, indeed. That time lucky that the arm was going forward. Incomplete pass. Throw right side taken in by Gibson. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. So on 4th down, Washington going to call on Tress Way to punt it away. And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. So back onto the field here come the Eagles for their second drive. Well, the football changing hands here, and as this offense takes the field, Charles, they'd be fine with more of the same on this upcoming drive. Last time out, they found the end zone for 6.
And they're certainly hoping for more of the same, but the game plan, I doubt it'll just be a carbon copy of the last drive, because I think this offense is ready to find some new wrinkles and try some new things that might be hidden in their playbook. They want to use that confidence to its advantage, while also keeping the defense from anticipating what's up next.
And this throw will be intercepted. Picked off by Bobby McCain. They exited the pocket trying to improvise. That was a tough throw, and unfortunately, it wound up in the wrong pair of hands.
And Brandon, when you're on the run, sometimes your downfield vision could get skewed just a bit. Now, the beauty of extending a play is sometimes your receivers find their way open, but oftentimes you end up closing down part of the field and bringing those defenders to the ball. And that one was picked off.
After one, 7-3 the score. Second quarter now from our nation's capital, and it's Washington in possession of the football as they are looking at a 2nd down and 6 coming up. Now Wentz. That's out to the flat for Gibson. Touchdown, Washington. Antonio Gibson, a 16-yard touchdown. And the Commanders have retaken the lead. Extra point by Sly is up and good. And the lead is now 10-7. They had the short field, and they made quick work of it. Just 2 plays to get into the end zone. Joey Sly now to kick off after the touchdown. This will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. As the offense comes out here, Charles, maybe perhaps a bit more of a focus on the run game for this drive after tossing an interception on the previous one?
I think that's a good way to look at it and a good way to think about it, but maybe they get to it in a little bit different way, because after you throw an interception, you want to make sure you keep your quarterback's confidence high. So maybe give him a couple easy throws that he can complete and then get to the running game and try and get things settled down.
Yeah, and still in the first half here, a long way to go. Going deep here for Watkins. The ball popped in the air and intercepted. And the Commanders will have solid field position here as they take over at their 45-yard line. Second straight drive now here, Charles, that have ended with an interception.
And I just wonder, because I don't think it's going to rattle him necessarily. I also wonder if it's going to unnerve him a little bit. Does it lead to another one? Or does he find a way to pull it together and become sharp again?
From just shy of midfield, Wentz. And that's incomplete.
Really good coverage all over the field that took away his intended read and almost dared him to try for his guy out of the backfield. No surprise on that one. It doesn't connect.
Now Wentz on third down. Open man is Samuel, complete. And they'll get him down on the other side of midfield.
Oh, it's time to give a little credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line. But once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
So well done there. And these punters, they get more specialized and better each and every year, don't they?
They sure do. And now it's really not the American punters. It's the Australian punters with their kicking academies and that flat drop and just kind of kicking the nose of the football. They're able to almost stop it where they want to, like a good golfer can check one up.
Yeah, and he'll manage to pick up about 4 at second down. Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. Throwing is Hurts. He finds his man, complete. It's Watkins. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 20. Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a first down. From the gun, it's Hurts. And one more time, that's Watkins. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27. Operating from the 27 now. Here's 2nd and 3. Here's Hurts to throw. This is complete to Watkins on the slant. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Third catch for him on this drive alone, and it'll give him a first down. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. 10-7, our score. So 2 first downs, and that moves the ball to the 42 now, 1st and 10. Hurts. And that's going to be caught downfield by Brown. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And Hurts is intercepted, his 3rd of the game. Picked off by Benjamin St-Juste. The 40. 20, 10, and he will bring this one back. It is a pick 6 for a Washington touchdown. Now Joey Slye for the point after. It's good to make it 17-7. A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. And now this offense comes back out onto the field. And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive. And they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
Deep order on 2nd down, they wind up incomplete. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Looking here for Smith downfield. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down. On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. So a change of possession here on the punt. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10. Washington going to go on offense now late in this first half. And with good starting field position and 3 timeouts as well in their pocket, no reason not to try and put a late scoring drive together. But now a throw on 1st down there, but it's incomplete. They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10. To throw, it's Wentz. Pressure comes, and down he goes. The Eagles get there for the sack. Josh Sweat rushing in and bringing him down to the ground. A final shot before half for Wentz. Over the middle, complete to Samuel. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. So, you sure you're ready for the 3rd quarter? Need to use a bathroom or anything? All right, cool. Let's go. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. Jalen Hurts in this offense trotting back out.
And he's got to be wondering what happened in that first half. 3 interceptions, very uncharacteristic.
And even the great ones go through phases like this, like what we just saw. And most of them, they have such a mental capacity to throw it out and essentially start over. I think that's where he's headed now.
He's got his opportunity to throw it out. Let's see how he does.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. They go play action with Hurts. This is Smith with a grab. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. Just his 2nd catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains.
A couple of first downs right in succession, and this is an offense that could really use a good drive, and they're off to a fast start here.
They'll throw on 1st down with Hurts. He's going deep for Brown. And this is caught. Touchdown, Eagles. In today's NFL, we talk about quarterbacks and their speed and accuracy, but there's still something about a guy slinging one downfield.
And as that ball was hanging in the air with the receiver streaking downfield to meet it, here in the stadium, you could just sense the crowd thinking, oh, no. And their worst fears were realized as that one turned into a long touchdown.
And you can see in the next-gen stats, that one is 62 yards in the air. Elliott good with a PAT. And the lead's down to a field goal at 17-14. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And it's capped off by an A.J. Brown touchdown. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. First possession of the 2nd half now for Washington. But Charles, they still have the lead despite their defense giving up a touchdown on the previous possession. And even though they have that lead, it feels like a back-and-forth ball game where to try to get momentum back, maybe they need at least 3 here on this drive.
I think you're right about that, Brandon, because your game plan doesn't change. I do believe your urgency does because of the last score that went against your team. So what you want to do now is have your own drive and try and make sure that that momentum stays in your camp.
On 2nd down, here's Gibson again. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
And he's going to have a Commander's 1st down. It won't be by much. He needed 3, and he got 3, barely. But the mark shows 1st down. Wentz going to throw. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Give that sack to Nakobe Dean. Now, the #1 mission of any offensive line, you got to protect that quarterback, keep him safe back there. This time, the rush got to him in a hurry.
Yeah, this time it's going to come from the middle linebacker because watching the lineman, it seemed to me that they thought he was going to drop back into pass protection, but he surprised them and came on the blitz instead and had a pretty clear run to the quarterback.
Yeah, the next-gen stats going to illustrate just how quickly a quarterback has to process everything as he was on the ground in under 3 seconds, 2.9 to be precise.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Oh, you saw that one coming. It's intercepted. Throwing back across his body.
And the Eagles are going to take possession of the football.
Partner, I think this will want to ride very simply because he overestimated his arm strength and his ability to fit it anywhere he wants to. A lot of quarterbacks do that and often pay the price.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And down by a field goal, they'll take over with excellent field position following the interception. On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. They'll get this down to the 21, just on the edge of the red zone.
I feel like I could see what he was thinking on that carry. Wanted to follow that big tackle through the hole. Ended up only getting 4 yards on the carry. I think he had designs on that one being bigger.
That's going to be caught. And he can't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. 19 yards on the pickup there, and now they'll have it 1st and goal. On the sneak, it's Hurts, and he'll get in. He's over for the touchdown. Jalen Hurts scoring on the sneak from a yard out. And the Eagles have scored again in this 3rd quarter, this time to move out in front. Elliott good on the extra point, and that will make this a 4-point game. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. Taken at the goal line. And he'll be brought down right on the chalk of the 20. Out comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here. And we'll see if they can bounce back from that last drive. In particular, if they can bounce back at the quarterback position, Charles, after throwing their first interception of the ball game.
Yeah, and some guys, you know they're going to want to try and get a big play right away and take control back. Others, they're going to look to hit a couple shorter passes and get a little momentum back that way.
But for the defense, that goal's not changing a bit. They want another pick.
You're exactly right about that. In fact, you've got to watch them a little bit because in coverage, they may cut down their gaps a little bit, maybe their splits a little bit in order to try and get to the ball even faster.
On 2nd down, a run with Gibson. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Just a 1-yard loss that time, but that's not what they needed. Now they're dealing with a 3rd and long.
I see a shake of the head as he gets up, and you've got to imagine he's thinking, guys, you got to help me out. He's hoping his team can read his thoughts because he definitely needs some assistance.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he's taken down. Back at his own 7. Hassan Reddick picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon. It has been a rough afternoon for him trying to get rid of the football. See, that's now 5 sacks. Before they can get the punt away, whistles as we've come to the end of the 3rd quarter of action. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. And now the punter, Tress Way, as he sends this one away. Taken at about the 36. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Eagles will have it taking over 1st and 10. Wide receiver A.J. Brown, you see he and the rest of his mates returning to the field here. When you're in a zone like he is, what's the conversation like on the sideline between he and his quarterback? Is that a one-way conversation of, hey, just keep getting me the football?
It actually is probably a two-way conversation because he wants to keep getting him the football because he's seeing the payoff. You know, getting the ball to that guy means yardage, and as we've seen, touchdowns in this game. So I think both of them get more and more excited about the possibilities as things continue on.
Yeah, so far it's been over 100 yards and the 2 scores. And this one not going anywhere. They give it to 34 for getting just a yard.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead, positive game. Just keep that clock ticking.
Throwing from the gun, it's Hurts. He finds his man, complete. It's Watkins. And he is going to have an Eagles 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Let's go now.
Hurts a handoff to Sanders. And he stopped immediately there. Jamin Davis there to bring him down. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again 2nd and 10. He'll look to throw. And that one into the hands of Brown downfield. Touchdown, Philadelphia. A.J. Brown, 42 yards. And the Eagles are able to build on to their 4th quarter lead. Well, that's certainly going to bump up the old win probability index because now it's a 2-score game here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you're taking me into that deep water now. Win probability index. This game's definitely not over. We're not looking at a 0.5% or something. It's just 2 scores. But the way that this team is playing, to me, what I've seen, they absolutely deserve to win this game. They've been the better team by far throughout.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. Fielded just outside the goal line. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. And the script really is flipped for them. The momentum on the other sideline, and now they have to try and battle back from a 2-score deficit. Wentz now on first down. Now, quick throw there going to be batted away and incomplete.
It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or two in and bats it away.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Wentz, and he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Tell you what, partner, after he ices down, he's going to be a nice long soak in a hot tub after this one. He's been under duress the entire game.
Yeah, once again, hit as he throws. Fortunate that one wound up incomplete. Now Wentz. Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. A well-designed corner blitz that gets him for a loss of 8 yards. I don't know what else can be said about this pass rush. They have been sensational, CD. That is now 6 sacks for them.
And how many times do we talk to offensive coordinators and they say a sack as a result of everyone on offense not doing their job? But let's be honest about this one. This is the offensive line unable to counter the pass rush. They've been teeing off all game long.
Washington goes for it, but it does not pan out. And now, boy, the ball's going to go over on downs here inside the 10-yard line. They'll run with Sanders. And he's going to battle his way down right around the 2-yard line. From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Eagle football here as we get you reset. They've got a 2nd and goal now as they look to add a few more points here onto their total. Once again with Sanders. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal. Hurts sets up to throw it. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked up by Jamin Davis. And the Commanders are going to take over at their own 2-yard line. Now with that interception, you feel like we got a ball game again. Remember, 2-score contest and still time left here in the 4th.
And in the old days, not too long gone either. Throwing the ball here would have been an absolute no-no, but the way the game's played now, throwing it makes sense. You just have to be careful when you put it in the air.
Winston's throw complete there to Thomas. And he's brought down, but not before they get it across the 20-yard line. First down now, but that clock rolling. Finding Samuel. He's at the 40. Past the 20. Touchdown, Washington. Curtis Samuel, 79 yards. And the Commanders have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. Back to throw, Wentz. Forced out to his left. And now the pressure gets there, and he goes down. So he couldn't get rid of the football, and that deficit stays right where it is. A little less than 90 seconds to go. This will be an onside kick. And the Eagles hands team able to cover it up. And now looking at the clock here, they do have 2 timeouts, but even if they force a 3 and out, they're going to have very little time remaining.
So that means they've got to be aggressive and find a way to knock the ball free. They've got to come up with it because they can't just rely, as you noted, on using their timeouts and getting the ball back. They might not have any time to mount an attack, even if they do play it that way. Get the football. That's their mantra.
Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Another run here with Sanders. He'll work his way up the middle for a gain of about 4. 2nd down. Now Washington going to go ahead and use their final timeout
as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play.
The Commanders bringing out the nickel package on third down.
The Eagles in the victory formation as they take a knee. So a big kick coming now for Jake Elliott. This to put him a touchdown and a 2-point conversion up. Now with just 1 second showing on the play clock, we're going to get a timeout. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages.
The kick by Elliott is good, and that'll push the lead up to 8.
From a defensive perspective, though, I think maybe they're saying, hey, we did what we needed to do, kept this a 1-score game.
Yeah, without a doubt, because they were able to bleed some time off the clock, right? Put themselves in a good position. But it's not out of reach yet, okay? Being able to hold them to a field goal means that they do have a chance to come back and win this game.
And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense.
What do you do here down like this in this situation? Do you maybe just pick something out of the playbook you haven't called in a while, or you call it a day?
You can do.
He's got a man complete. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. Well, it took